Our morning show on the first Monday of the month always focuses on the City of Richland Center. Thanks to Jason Glassbrenner for being along on the first part of the show, Economic Development Director and Director of Public Works as well. Mayor Karin Tepley in the studio with us as well. Good to have you in. Good morning, Karin.
Good morning, Phil. Yes, I would also like to thank Jason. It was really important to me when we discussed doing this show is to have the professional staff members, have the deeper dive for the people to understand projects. I can give the overview of things I know, but they're in this 40 hours a week where I am not. So I just wanted to have people come on in with me and to give more information to our residents. So he's a tough act to follow, though. So I better get my game up here. So, anyways, but thank you to Jason.
Yeah, and I think it's important, Karin, to showcase people like Jason because in every small city, the number of hats that they wear and how busy they are, I don't think we sometimes realize that, do we?
Exactly. And like I said, they know this information, much more and with more accuracy than I could ever give. So that's really, once again, thank them for, agreeing to come in, taking a little time out of their day to inform our public.
Jason ended with a talk about the hotel development. Is there anything that you'd like to add to that conversation?
Sure. Yes, we are. I can remember as far back as probably 2005, 6. There was the RDA had a plan drawn out for Orange Street, and there was a hotel talked about, plotted actually where the current kidney dialysis center and pharmacy is. So that has been on the minds of Richland Center for a lot of years. So right now we are in the what we call just the investor or the owners group. Building that. That's not as easy as just dialing for dollars. It's a little, it's intriguing. It's a little tough, but I think it's going to be so worth it when you have ownership of a project like a hotel. In the community. I mean, there are hoteliers that can come in, build it. They have their financiers all set up. And that money goes back to Chicago, LA, or wherever. We have the opportunity with this organization to have the local investment stay here. And that creates a huge economic impact for our community. The hotel is going to do what it does, but it also having the opportunity for local ownership. We all know that whether it's residential or commercial, local ownership just creates a better foothold for the project, and so that's why we're spending extra time to try and build this group.
Is there anything in the works or anything?
It's in the works.
On the dotted line?
It's in the works. Yep.
Okay.
I can't say too much, but it's in the works. Just got a message this morning, so it's something we're working on. Always and often.
Yeah, and you're right. It does benefit other businesses. I think about the Phoenix Center right across the street, a wedding venue where people can stay in close proximity.
Exactly. Exactly. Whether it's, like I say, the Phoenix Center, the idea is to, as Jason mentioned, is to have the hotel situated so that people are not from our area, have the opportunity then to, walk a block and go into downtown. So every business, will be able to have, people from outside of our area have, their eyes on those businesses. And part of when the EPA came, the EPA received a grant to help local businesses. It was, shortly after COVID and that type of thing. So the EPA, which normally, does environmental type things, they were given a grant to also take a look at just economic development and what could happen in these small communities after COVID. So when they did their development plan, yes, they mentioned a hotel as the cornerstone project in the property that the city owns. There's also room for, possibly 2 more developments. And then they had the idea to close the 1 block of Jefferson Street between Court and Mill so that it becomes kind of like an urban park. That's a great area for the farmers market to be in, and once again, that will lead into downtown. So it has moving pieces. We don't know if all of that will, like say, as far as closing the street, but everything that the city has talked about, they're for that as well. So it'd be nice to have a place to, sit and have a cup of coffee and watch the world go by, or food trucks, events, music. You would like that, right?
I would like that really well.
Yeah.
And Jason talked a bit about the WEDC business visit. Were you in that conversation as well?
Yes, I was invited to go along, and it was very interesting. Like I say, I served on council for 8 years, but being invited to this level of meetings and conversations is really it's an eye-opener for me, of course, but it really, kind of gets the wheels turning and other things we can do. In fact, I'll just mention that we had a visitor from the WEDC program. She is, Erin Welty, and she is the Senior Director of Downtown Development for Connect Communities. And Connect Communities is an organization that Richland Center filled out an application. It's been a couple months ago now, but it's a competitive grant. So it's also the stepping stone to a Main Street program, and you probably have heard about those. In fact, Richland Center was a Main Street program years ago. So we're hoping to get back to that. So what that organization will do is it's really all about community transformation, and they provide resources having to do with design, promotion, organization, and economic vitality. So we were told by Erin Welty that that Richland Center has come before them. She's been in the position, she said, like 13 years, and Richland Center has come before them within the last 10 years several times, but we're the first group that has actually made it to this point. So, feather in our hat for getting the interest in community development. Downtown, we do have tourism. We have the chamber. So this is an organization that will concentrate on downtown, but work with both tourism and the chamber. Any chance we can get.
You mentioned the Main Street program. Is there a chance to get back in that organization, or is this something the same or just as good, or how do you look at it?
Well, we certainly can. There are, I think it's right around 100 Connect communities throughout the state, and many of them just stay there. The level that you have to go up to be a Main Street program, you do have to have a full-time person, on staff. And I will say that when you get to that point, then to be able to take advantage of that level, you would need somebody full time. So, but there are many communities that stay at the Connect community level. There's a lot of resources and a lot of things they already provide at that level. So it's not a disadvantage. It's just that if it grows to that point, absolutely, we would love to go there.
Some great things have gone on since the last time you were here. The month of June is always busy in the City of Richland Center, isn't it?
It sure is. Between the dairy days and rodeo parades, I hope everyone had a great time at those events, and then the weather was great for that. Then we got a little steamy weather, but I still hope people had a chance to get out and enjoy Thunderfest the weekend prior to the 4th. It's kind of nice, living in a small community, then we have the ability to go, just a little bit down the road, and then Lone Rock does a really nice parade and fireworks there as well. So I hope everybody had a chance to get out and enjoy themselves, and now hopefully we get a little break from all that hot and humid weather. So.
No kidding.
Yes.
I heard good reviews about the fireworks.
Yes, absolutely. So it's nice that, like I said, we do ours the week before. We get a little break on the package that we do, so that we can provide a larger show. So that's kind of the idea behind that. But yeah, I hope it was great.
July coming up. Anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, actually, as of today, we have a new employee at the city. Erin Unbehound has joined us as the zoning administrator. One thing I'll just mention, back in probably September, October, when we were working on the budget, and I was on council then. I've served on finance committee for quite a few years. We actually had to budget without a zoning administrator, which there was no one in that position, and without a clerk, also the same situation, no one in that position. But we had to do our budget for the first quarter without those two employees. That's how tight the budget was. So we're very fortunate. Aaron Unbehound probably is a name that many people recognize, serves as the school board president. So we are happy to have him. He has a pretty a great background in supply chain management. And so, when you're doing zoning, you have to do things in a certain order, and so, him having that type of background is going to be great.
Well, good luck to Aaron.
Yes, for sure. And then we do have our meeting for City Council on Tuesday at 6:30. We have a couple of items on there that we are going to be amending the ordinances for the park board. I won't go into a whole detail on that, but it's our ordinances and the state statutes for the park board are not in line. So what the ad hoc committee tried to do was dissolve the park board. The board has a lot to do with this. So whether we're to become a committee or like a Friends of the Park, we just knew that we needed to get things in line statutorily. Actually, when the city council decided that we wanted an administrator type of government, city council mayor type of government, this should have been handled at that point. But there was a lot going on, as usually is. So it's been, it's been a coming thing, over the last several years. So we will have that discussion, and then I also received a question about another item on the agenda, and that's to amend the council rules to add the mayor to the General Government Committee. The General Government Committee is a new committee. And that committee handles many things that affect the entire city, contracts and that type of thing. And when we decided who would be on that committee, we felt that the chairs of the three largest standing committees would be appropriate. But we didn't think as far as, like say having the mayor there. I mean, the mayor's, big part of that position is to have a good handle on what the city's currently doing and future items for the future. So the mayor will not be a voting member, but certainly allowed to add any insight or comments without asking for permission from the chair. That's the key part. Any council member can attend any meeting, and that's where the work happens in committees. But like I said, you do have to have permission from the chair. And while I've attended many meetings and have never had an issue, it's just helpful, so that the mayor will always have the ability to add insight for that.
Good to know that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff as well. And as far as the city council, you don't have a vote there either, do you?
No, I do not. And that's surprising to a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
I would only have a vote in the case of a tie. And the mayor also has a veto opportunity if that were ever to come. In my 8 years, that's never I've never had that happen. But it's part of what the mayor can do.
So the city council is in place now for a couple of months.
Yes,
right?
So we do have 3 new members on city council. So that it's really important. We part of the mayor's job, and very important one, is every April, the third Tuesday of April, we have our reorganization meeting where the mayor appoints people to committees. And I took quite a bit of time and input from the council members. Where are their strengths? Obviously time availability as well, but mostly, wanted to know where their skills would be best served. So that was really important to put those folks in the right places. I also have moved the public comment to the beginning of the meetings because in my thoughts, if someone has a comment or something to do with an item that's on the agenda, it's important that council members hear that before they vote. So that's people that like to come to the meetings just want to make it clear that your public comment happens earlier in the meeting and not at the end.
So I suppose you can make your piece known and then leave too if you want to.
If you want.
If you wanted to.
We, of course, would like people to,
To stay.
stick around and so that they learn more. And I mentioned before that, much of the work happens in the committees. So if you really have a passion about something, please show up at the committee level, because once it gets to council, the committees have, gone over, researched what they need, got, questions answered and that type of thing. So really at council, it's up to the council members to vote. So it's really hard to, have a comment affect that when, all that work has been done already. I mean, it certainly can. But, all of the committees are on the website. So if you just pull up the Richland Center website, and there's a button at the left-hand corner, minutes and agenda. And that button will take you to all the meetings and the times and the places.
To make public comment, you don't have to be on an agenda.
No,
correct?
You do not.
Yep.
That's very true.
So just show up with your thoughts, I
exactly.
guess. Right. And be respectful, right?
Absolutely. That is written in some of our code of conduct for both the council members as well as the public. We are there to hold a meeting, and, that level of respect is required. Yes.
Anything else you want to add today?
Yeah, I have
Karin?
a few things. Speaking of, some more meetings coming up, it's really important, communication in this line of work. So I'm going to be meeting with the leadership from the county and leadership of the city. So we're going to, just start meeting. That hasn't happened before since I've been mayor. So we're going to do that. And then we also have Scott Gauld, our city utilities manager, is setting up meetings for with some of our larger employers. And while that might be initially, but a discussion about utility load and that type of thing, it's really important to hear, obviously, if they're increasing or decreasing, what that says, for housing, other city amenities. So I'm looking forward to meeting with the leadership of our largest corporations, and then maybe have quarterly meetings after that, so that the city, builds those relationships. I mean, not all decisions are made at meetings. A lot of input from our community matters. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we also have some collaboration meetings coming up. And that would involve, I think the public would remember some of the public forums that they've had, and that involved the city, the county, Simon's Foundation, and the school board, and any other, main, public entities. And so we're going to have some collaboration meetings, and if we feel that another public forum is should be happening, then we'll take care of that at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those went over really well, and they were effective.
Yes, they were. And I also would like to just mention the city staff will continue to have what they're calling center conversations. They had one in June, and they're going to do those quarterly. So just watch social media and also the website for an upcoming meeting. And then I also want to let people know that my office, I have hours set aside for walk-ins for constituents, and those hours are Monday from 11:30 till 1, and then again on Thursday from 4:30 until 6 p.m. So if you have a question or a concern, certainly stop by. The time is yours.
No appointment is needed?
No appointment. I'm in the office much more than that, so if those times don't work, I'm in the office every day except for Wednesday, so we can always set up an appointment as well.
Good. It sounds like a lot is happening, and I think transparency is good, public input is good, and you're working
Absolutely.
on all those things, working to improve those.
Yes, for sure. That's very important. Like I said, serving on council for 8 years, being on various committees. Economic development is very important. Budgets are very important to me personally. So those are kind of a couple of areas that that I have my finger on the pulse, or however you want to say it. But it's important. We do this for for our community. I mean, that's why we're here. So input by the community and for the community is important.
Any issues as far as the weather was concerned? Jason touched on that a little bit, but
yeah, as far as I know, no. I did not receive any phone calls of putting emergency management into place or anything like that. So I know it's been hot and sticky has been the word of the day or the week it was. So hopefully a little cooler weather will come up, and I hope everyone gets out and enjoys the aquatic center. I saw Jody and I said, I'm sure your week has been pretty busy, and she agreed wholeheartedly. So it's great that, the kids and families, able to get out and cool off a bit.
Right. We had to close it a few times with severe weather, but hopefully July looks a little better here.
Yes, yes, that's very true. Obviously, safety is important, so we can't have, any lightning or, like say, bad storms. And no one's going to, really want to be in the pool when it's raining as hard as it had been.
Did you get to the circus the other night?
I did not. But there again, I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know I saw a lot of posters up in the downtown and tickets available, for kids and whatnot. So I hope that was a great time. And I remember going, grew up in Racine, and they had a few circuses in Milwaukee that I went to as a young person. So it always brought smiles and great joy. So I hope they enjoyed it.
Good memories, you bet.
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
Karin, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you, Phil. Thank you again for having me.
And bet. Have a good month, and we'll see you first Monday in August.
Yes,
so.
it goes fast.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, after you get by the 4th of July, it seems like it really flies.
It does. It just goes real fast.
Great.
But
well, we'll see you soon.
Take time and enjoy it. Thank you.
You bet. Mayor Karin Tepley from the City of Richland Center. Earlier, we had Jason Glassbrenner on as well from the city, and we'll be back with more info for you tomorrow on The Morning Show.